thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. Some of you joined me back in July for this meditation, but it has changed quite considerably since then because people are still joining. Back in July, just a few weeks after doing the first meditation, I did some training in clearing your Akashic records with Adrian Lee. And I wanted to bring that element in to this session, sort of do it again really, and bring that in. So what you're going to get tonight is a little bit deeper. We're going to go a little deeper in. And basically, if you don't know what the Akashic records are, I'll just briefly explain. Basically, it's like a cosmic database. It's a cosmic library of everything that's ever happened to you in this life, past lives, through all dimensions, all planes of existence, since your first incarnation as a soul. So everyone has their Akashic records, and they're overseen by an archangel called Gadriel. So Gad, G-A-D, not Gabriel, Gadriel. And he has a very beautiful green and gold energy, and he oversees the divine plan of action. So that's the kind of overall, if you like. And he records everything, every thought, word, action, and deed that's ever carried out by any soul on the planet. And so what we can do is we can actually go into those Akashic records, like the books of your life. They're held within the Great Pyramid, and it's called the Halls of Amenti, where the Akashic records are. And we can go in and we can actually start to go through them with the help of our Akashic masters. We all have Akashic masters, maybe one, maybe more. We're going to meet them soon. And then we can start to take out the pages, the scrolls, the parchments, the books even, that are no longer serving us. So we do this under something called the law of grace, the law of one. And what that means is that every soul comes to earth in order to evolve, to heal, to grow, and to learn. And we do that, unfortunately, not by just having a really nice time, because that would be too easy. So we go through challenges, we have difficulties. Obviously, they can be relationships, health, wealth, career, spirituality, war. Oh, it's so much, so much. And of course, tonight we're focusing on this lesson, which is narcissistic abuse, which is a powerful lesson that many of us have had to experience. And so some of us, I would agree with this from my own experience with narcissistic abuse, is it has actually been my greatest healer, and it has guided me very much into the dark and into my shadow and helped me to heal and process and then come out into light a different person, like a rebirth almost. So it's not something that I would necessarily, I didn't particularly want the lesson, but it's like if we need these difficulties to help us grow and evolve, the law of grace, the law of one, means that we won't be able to remove them. So we're not trying to get rid of everything so that we just have some easy life, sail along, because that isn't life. And we're here on earth for a reason, and we're here to grow. And if we're here, that's why we're here. Otherwise, we would have already ascended. We would have gone to the light and not needed to keep coming back. So we can trust that whatever we clear is to be cleared for our highest good, for the greatest good of us and our soul. And also, we can't, part of what we're going to do tonight will affect people around us. We're going to clear soul contracts. I'll explain a bit more about that in a moment. But we're not actually affecting the other person's karma. We're not interfering with their energy field. That's really unethical. We wouldn't ever try and go in to anyone else's karma and mess about with it. We're just working on our own. But the law of grace means that whenever we work on ourselves, whenever we heal ourselves, whatever we do, little or small, we're affecting the people around us, because it's all about vibration. It's all about energy. And, we come into earth as soul families. We connect with people. We have these challenges, lessons, connections, contracts, cords, and every time we release and heal ourselves and ascend a little higher and raise our own vibration, we're affecting everyone around us. So we are helping other people in doing this for ourselves. And this is also really important at this time, because on earth we're going through this tremendous change and this tremendous transition, a bit like the sort of the laboring of birth, when you go through the different stages of birth. And this is the last few years we've been building to this extreme point of you know, the really tough bit as we are about to come out into the light and be reborn and find new earth, the golden age, the age of Aquarius, which may not happen soon. It could be another 10, 20 years, but it is definitely, we are heading there. And a lot of us are waking up and starting to remember and feeling that we're healing in a different way. And we're being asked to clear our trauma. And if you suffered narcissistic abuse, whether it was in a romance, a marriage, a work colleague, family member, parent, sibling, child, even, you know, anywhere that you came into contact with them, it can leave a great deal of trauma in you. A lot of people suffer with PTSD, complex PTSD, after long-term difficult relationships with narcissists. So we're being asked at the moment to clear that. It's like the darkness has to go. The earth, Mother Earth, doesn't want to take all our human trauma with her into the place that she's going, into this ascended new earth. And that's happening. I could go into that for a long time about the astrology, the earth energy, where we are in the universe, the solar flares, everything. There's so much colliding at this moment to take us into this ascended place. And not only is Mother Earth asking us to help her as a planet, but she's asking us to clear ourselves. So that's why so many people are feeling like so much is coming up. It's not just like some kind of punishment to suffer. It's because it's being highlighted for us to say, enough, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, we're the generation that's going to break this ancestral lineage of abuse through families, through relationships. You know, we are the people that are not going to pass it on to the next generation. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you even have children. It's just about us clearing throughout our lifetime, so the next generation can come up with a better experience. And I believe that in time, we won't need to keep going through these karmic cycles in this way, that karma will be cleared. Perhaps not for hundreds of years, who knows? Could happen sooner, no one knows, it's a mystery. But I feel that's where we're going, that this karmic cycle of suffering and rebirth and reincarnation and suffering will come to an end. And when I was before I did my training with Adrian, earlier in the year, I had some past life experiences approaching it, and I had this incredible dream that I was clearing Akashic Records in Egypt, many eons ago, and that it was something that we all knew we needed to do. It was something that in every life our ancestors would have known, that you need to go to the people who can clear your records, clear your karma, spend time, maybe pilgrimage, and have that done for you. A bit like we take our car in to be regularly looked after, or we go to the doctor to be looked after. We would have done that for our spirituality. So I think that could be partly where we're heading to as well, that knowledge and wisdom coming back, and that opportunity to clear so that we can be a little bit more free. And as I say, it doesn't mean that the challenges are going to disappear. It just means that we're going to be better equipped to deal with them, and we're not going to keep going over and over and over the same karmic patterns time and time again. So I hope that sort of helps you understand what we're doing tonight and where we're going with it. I've basically written this. There's a lot to say, and I just want you to completely relax during it. But before we get comfortable, and I'm going to ask you in a minute to lie down or sit back and close your eyes and relax, I want you to think of one person particularly. It's probably, if you've had several issues with narcissists, and a lot of people have, because it can tend to come in a sort of pattern of a lifetime, I want you to think of the main person that you have had issues with, because we're going to clear the soul contract with that person, and ask that it is released. So a soul contract is an agreement or an oath, a vow. It could have been a marriage, that's a contract in a past life perhaps, or in this, or it could have been something else where you perhaps made an agreement at some point to have an interaction with a difficult person, an abusive person, in order to learn. But we want to clear that. We want to let that go so that you can then move on from this pattern, if you like, having learnt everything that you needed to learn. Okay, so what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to do a general Akashic clear. So that's going to be things that aren't necessarily related to narcissistic abuse, because I want to give you the whole thing. And then I'm going to go through the areas that are specifically for narcissistic abuse. And because I've suffered it myself, I think that I've covered most things, because I think I know most of the horrible things that can happen. And I know when I did this in July, a lot of people said, wow, you literally you didn't miss anything. So hopefully whatever's happened to you, it will be covered during this meditation. And it's going to take at least an hour. So it's 7:45 now, which is about right. It's going to take at least an hour. It might be a little less, a bit longer. And then there'll be times during it when my camera will go off, because I'm going to be doing some energy work on you all. That I don't want to be seen publicly, been asked by my guides not to show, so I'll be turning the camera off now and then. And at the end, I will go quiet, and I will literally just beam you all some lovely light and send the angels to kind of wrap you up, so that you're really held and really comforted by the angelic support teams that I've got, and I'm sure you all have as well. Wonderful.